Today I'm joined by legendary guitarist Mark Kendall of Great White, a band whose blues-infused hard rock sound helped define an era while maintaining a musical identity all their own. From classics like Rock Me, Save Your Love, and Once Bitten, Twice Shy, decades of touring, recording, reinvention, and perseverance, Mark's guitar playing and songwriting became a major part of Great White's emotional and musical DNA. Now, Mark, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
Great White's still actively touring and continuing forward creatively after all these years. What does this current chapter of the band feel like emotionally compared to the earlier era?
Feels great. We got a new singer. He's been in the band almost 4 years, Brett Carlisle.
Yeah.
He's totally awesome, and it's just a blessing to keep this thing going. Our fans are so damn loyal. It's just incredible. Everywhere we go, there's tons of fans in front of the stage, so we're really having a good time, man.
That's good. Well, I'm sure he's younger, so he probably brings some of that passion and reminds you of that, kind of passion and energy that you guys had when you first started,
Oh yeah.
I would think
Yeah,
that's got to
and
be an inspiration.
not to mention he's kind of an old soul in a way. It's kind of a trip. It's like he fits in, the way he looks, the way he sings. He fits in so good. I mean, even in photo shoots, it doesn't look that weird or anything. It's not like he's standing with Crosby, Stills, and Nash or something, and we're all graying and old. So it's kind of a trip how well he fits for being such a young man.
Yeah.
He's just barely pushing 30.
Right.
So it's awesome. And he sings the songs like perfect every night. And so in that regard, it's good for the fans, because they go see the show and they go, this is what I heard on the radio all my life.
Yeah.
So it works. It works in that regard. Plus, we're making new music in the studio, and he just sounds totally amazing on our new stuff. So we're real excited to have him in the band.
Yeah, that's got to be interesting after all of these years, working with the same singer to, be working with someone else, which brings a different kind of chemistry. It brings a different kind of flavor to the music. And that can also probably inspire your writing, as a guitar player, I would think.
Absolutely. It's exciting to have something new in the band. It brings a new, even when we say we have to have a bass player sitting in or something, it's like, oh, this new guy, it kind of makes things different in the family, if you will.
Yeah.
So, but it's enjoyable. And we finally have a singer after all these years that's actually great. We're not just settling. It's like the dude's badass. And so that makes it really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I can definitely see that with a younger singer and someone that's, incredibly passionate about it, that it can be bring a total different element to your music, which can, kind of put you in a different direction. Do you think your direction musically has changed with him and the band?
Not at all. We just write the best songs we can, and the best ones make the record. That's the way we've always been. Nothing has changed. He's an 80s rocker to his core. And all the little cover bands he's been in, played our type stuff, so he's all about it now.
That's because the 80s had the best music, back then everybody really pushed themselves, most generally, I'm not saying every band, people pushed themselves to be the best that they could be. And you weren't relying on things like auto-tune or this different technology to make you sound good. You had to rely on
our auto-tune was try it again. Yeah, I know you got one better in you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm aware that there's a lot of people using auto-tune now. And for me, that's cheating, and just laziness. I mean, in some cases, You know, if you're just using it to correct a couple of things, cool. But you're using it throughout the entire song because you literally can't sing, whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, when you do that, you know, from our era and before that, even decades before,
Mhm.
singers all had their own styles, you
Yeah,
know, and you could pick out a style. You can say, hey, this guy sounds like Frank Sinatra a little bit, or
yeah.
this guy sounds like, you know, he kind of has a little bit of Presley in him, you know.
Mhm.
But now with the auto tune, everybody sounds like they're singing through a keyboard or something. There's no individual style really.
Yeah.
It's kind of like everybody sounds similar.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And so there's one of the definite disadvantages of it because it's being overused. And
Yeah.
with any new technology, even like back in the 80s when, you know, they came out with a drum machine and people were worried that a drum machine was going to take over the drummer's spot. Um, you know, I mean, it's how you use it. It's supposed to be used as a tool.
I have no intention of using it. We just we just write the best songs we can, like I said, and
Stay true.
write our own lyrics and write, you know, everything. And we would never use AI for anything.
Well, you don't need to. You know, you came from an era where you had to do it yourself. So you've been doing it, you've mastered that craft. Guys like you stay true to the art. And I think
Absolutely.
I think that's crucial. There's a lot of the older artists like yourself that feel the same way, you know, and in fact, Berklee College of Music, they had protested recently from having an AI class in music. So they fought against having any type of AI involved with the school. Music's about art, it's about expression, and it's about craft. And people like yourself spend thousands and thousands of hours, including me, on
Yeah.
perfecting that craft and developing your own.
Absolutely.
And
Well, I can give you an example in sports. Just take tennis, for example.
yeah,
Now, I used to love characters in tennis. Like, I'm not a tennis player, but I just remember John McEnroe complaining to the referee about a call.
mm,
You wouldn't even have, but now they have buzzers that tell you when the shot's in or out.
mm,
So everybody just stands there. They don't say a word. You know, everybody. You know what I mean? There's no characters.
yeah,
So
no,
that's another thing that sucks the human element out of something.
no
You know,
humanity.
no longer can you tell the judge he sucks and he's horrible.
Get in an argument with a judge like John did all the time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Jimmy Connors, man, he was such a nightmare. You know, so it takes the personality out of things. You
yeah.
know, and if
I
you got AI just writing the songs and what, so the band goes out there and they're just playing AI songs. I mean, it just seems so inhuman. You know,
yeah.
it's just I don't know. I'm
And it,
totally against all that. I like the human connection, social skills.
yeah,
You know, just the regular world, not this.
mm,
I just don't like it when machines play music. I just think like one band, and I'm not saying I love this band, but I love something about them. We play with the band. They're not new, but they've been around probably 10 years or more.
yeah.
But they're called Greta Van Fleet.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know them.
I'm talking to the singer like 2 minutes before he's going on stage. And he just runs out there and starts singing. And the guitar players just like plug in their amps and count to four and go. They didn't have any machines doing shit. And I just loved that because it was a newer band, at least for me.
Yeah.
And to see these guys that just go out there and play,
Mm,
it was refreshing. You know, they didn't have any tape running, singing background vocals or
yeah.
anything shit like that. So when I see that, it's refreshing. I like that. I don't like machines doing anything live. I
Yeah.
don't want machines doing all this singing with backgrounds and
Yeah.
playing guitar for you. I'd rather make 18 mistakes in one show than have some guitar
Mm,
playing for me.
mm.
You know what I mean? And you might get 17.
That's good to hook up with a band on tour that actually inspires you.
Just the fact that they did it like we did. You
Mm,
know, they're playing live for
yeah,
real. You
yeah.
know, and I love them.
The great bands that I've always liked are the ones that come out and do it exactly the way that you're talking about. They come out, they plug in, and they're ready to go. You
We
know?
do it on one song. We actually use a keyboard part on one song called "Save Your Love"
Mhm.
because Michael has to play an acoustic guitar
Yeah,
and I play a clean electric, and we have no way to play keyboards at the same time.
right. Yeah.
So we have to have those strings
Mm.
playing to a click track. That's the
Yeah.
only song it's the only song we do it on because we can't do it live. Unless we hired a guy just for that one song.
Yeah, that makes sense though, because it's one of your absolute popular songs that you have. So to not play that live, people are going to be
Yeah.
disappointed with it.
That's the only thing we use it for.
You have recently been working on new material and approaching releases a little bit different now, more song by song instead of focusing on a full album. Now, what's been inspiring you creatively heading into this new material, other than the singer, of
Well,
course?
we're going to record a full record. It's just the way we're going to release it. At least we're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's to release one song at a time at first. Just release a song in a video, then maybe another song in a video, and then maybe one more song in a video, and then we'll bombard people with 8 more songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at first, just to keep people's attention, instead of just bombarding them with 11 or 12 or 13 songs,
Mhm.
we just feel in today's world, it'd be better to
Yeah.
do one song at a time, and that way they have their full attention on that song.
Yeah.
It's similar to old school in regard. It's like we're releasing a single.
45.
It's just we're not giving you all the music too.
Yeah.
You know.
That makes
So I think
sense.
that's a good way to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of bands that are approaching it that way now.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if you're releasing one song at a time, it gives them time to absorb your music.
Part of the reason we're doing it that way is because of today's world. It's not like back when we were teenagers and we go to the record store, get a record, and listen to the whole album all day.
Yeah.
These guys, the way they do it is they download songs from this artist and they might download a couple from these guys and a couple from those guys. They
Yeah.
don't buy whole records at once and just listen to it down like we used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that human connection again isn't the same of what like us where we knew everybody's name in every band.
Yep.
And
Every lyric.
We go buy 2 or 3 records and we listen to the whole album all day long.
Yeah.
They don't do it like that these days.
No.
It's downloading. It's a downloading world. So we'll give them one song to download.
Yeah. Do you know when this new material is going to be released approximately?
Yeah. There's no set date, but we're looking at studios now, and we have some demos. Brett and I have 7 songs. We put together 3 songs with the band. So it's just finding the time. We have so many shows coming up. It's hard to fit the time in. But when it gets a little bit later in the year, we have some open space where we can record.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's good to hear that you guys are that busy
Yeah.
at this stage in your career, because there's a lot of bands that struggle now.
We got a really good agent and gets us a lot of shows. So we just fly. We'll do 2 or 3 shows and then go home and go out next week and do the same.
So you get a break in between.
Yeah.
Do you still like touring at this stage in your career, Mark?
Love it. It's nice to be home. As opposed to be gone months and months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So that part of it's great, but it's just more of a balance. There's better balance today.
Yeah.
And so, but I've never left myself anything to fall back on. I play my guitar for a living since I was 23 years old. Point me to the stage and let me go. And then tell me when to quit playing.
Well, again, you're fortunate to be able to still do this at this many years later.
Yeah.
The work's out there. You just need somebody that's good at their job to keep you
Well,
busy.
that and we have the songs that have withstood the test of time. You know what I mean? So
Right.
people like to go down and watch us play and kind of relive their younger years and
Yeah,
just enjoy the night.
nostalgia.
So our fans are real loyal in that regard.
How do you feel about your writing process now? Has it changed over the years?
Nothing,
Nothing.
nothing's changed. I swear to God.
Mm.
Here's what we do: we all write on our own, and then we get together, and then somebody will say, "What do you got?" And I'll go, "I got this." Oh, that's a cool riff, man. Let's work on that. Then we go out in the practice room and we put it together, And
Start
then
jamming on it.
I'll show them the melody I'm hearing, and then like the singer might go, "Oh, that's pretty cool, but what do you think of this?"
Mm.
And they'll maybe change it a little bit, and
Yeah.
then, "Oh, I got an idea for a chorus," and whatever, and we just kind of run it as a group, and that's why we've always done it, just old school.
Mhm.
We play together, and a lot of things happen when we do that.
It's a
So
collaboration. It's a collaboration. It's not a one man
yeah,
show. Yeah.
it's worked that way. It's always worked well that way, so we don't change anything.
Your guitar playing is very blues oriented, very blues based. Do you still approach the songs with that kind of style? The blues rock?
Uh, I don't even have to concentrate on anything. I just write the best songs I can, and it always comes out that way.
Yeah. One of my favorites by you guys was Miss the Bone.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. It's got like a really cool groove to it, That
Sure.
that bluesy riff that you got going on there. I haven't heard the song in quite a while. I'm gonna definitely check it out after we get off this.
Oh,
But
right on. Cool, man.
yeah, dude, that's a pretty cool tune, man. Way back yonder when I had Guitar Magazine, I remember getting the sheet music to it. I think it was
Oh, nice.
Guitar for the Practicing Musician or Guitar World. One of
Oh,
the
yeah.
two. Yeah, you were on the cover of it. You were always wearing sunglasses back then.
I remember when they used to write the music out for certain
Yep.
songs and stuff. The
Yeah,
tablature, and then you could learn it on guitar or whatever.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. They didn't have internet back then, so you
Yeah.
couldn't learn off the internet. This one guy from Italy, he plays my solos like so perfect, it's unreal. Because most of them don't.
yeah.
Most of them don't. And there's one guy, his name's Sasha Baptista,
Okay.
and that guy's badass. He does all my solos like perfect with the same feel. Like I've never seen a guy do my stuff so good.
Yeah,
It's pretty phenomenal.
to get the same feel of another player's
And
very difficult.
and he splits the video to where he plays the rhythm guitar on one and the solo on the other.
That's
So
cool.
he even takes it that far. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. It's got to be flattering for you too. Actually, have somebody doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I know some of the tablature wasn't always, correct, but it at least gave you a general idea of how to play it, and you had to rely more on your ear back then too, because, like you said, there wasn't internet where everything's handed to you on a silver platter now.
Right.
There's a lot of these kids that are amazing guitarists, but what they're lacking is the experience and the performing and the getting out there and getting all that, which really helps you to kind of grow and develop your own voice as a
Yeah.
player. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I think, people, some that are technically great, they're just playing all this, they're playing all these riffs and notes, not really knowing why.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
They
it's
don't
just
have
they learned all these scales and badass riffs, and they just kind of rip through it, but they don't know why they squeezed a note, or
they're not really connecting to it.
not. Well, some are, but there's some that like you said, they experience
Yeah.
and playing within the song, what the song's calling for.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll just play some, I would call them meaningless notes, instead of doing something that has some value attached to it, and something that's musical, that's memorable.
Yeah.
Instead of just jacking off.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it, though. It really is, because that's all it is. You're just, going through the motions, and
there's no dynamic. See, the reason for doing something fast or something flashy is for a dynamic, at least the way I think of it.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
You're doing something a little bit more theme orientated, like say it the solo and I don't know, Stairway to Heaven, But you might have a flashy part at the end that's kind of more speed driven.
Mm-hmm.
And just like a singer wouldn't sing high all the time, he might sing in a little bit mid range, and then he hits a high note, and you go, "Whoa! Did you hear that? That was cool."
Yeah, letting it breathe. Having it breathe life into it, because if you're at the same level all the time, you have nowhere to go.
Exactly.
Those, screams or those high notes, they mean more when you do it tastefully, and when they come up in a part that really expresses some type of emotion, and just like fucking floors you.
Now you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I absolutely.
That's the way I approach. That's the way I approach the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I say, when I have a song and I don't have a solo written or anything, I say to myself, what can I do to make this song the best it can be, as opposed to saying, how many notes can I get away with?
Yeah.
But one thing I'm not saying, there's a lot of great guitar players that play in that style that have kind of what I have and that. And those guys are just badass,
Yeah.
I'm kind of more talking about just speed all the time, where, like you said, they don't have anywhere to go.
Yep.
I just think usually they might come into their own and start, like, I'll make an example. Paul Gilbert.
Yeah.
That dude is so badass. He can grab a note and just vibrato it and just totally slay. He has the best of both worlds. I really appreciate him. I just totally respect Paul Gilbert.
Now let's get into Brett Carlisle. I know you talked about him a little bit, but how has bringing Brett into the band influenced the chemistry and energy creatively and live? You talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, he had a killer energy. He's not scripted like live. In other words, in between the songs, he knows how to get the crowd going. He's very natural with that.
It's good front man.
And he really digs the fans. Nothing overwhelms the guy. He just in the moment, and he's respectful. He's happy with his position in the band. He has a lot of energy on stage, and he sings perfect every night.
And he's a fan, right? He's a fan.
Yeah, he loves all the 80s stuff, and and he's really talented, man. Like, when I play him new stuff, he launches right in and starts. He hears it,
Yeah.
So he's really good in that way. Live, he's just all over the place on stage. He just rocks,
It's cool, man.
Just a good guy to be around. He's
good chemistry.
Good chemistry, for sure.
Yeah. You were talking about the writing process with him. How many songs would you say that you guys have right about now ready for?
We have 3 ready to go, but we have 7 on tape.
Okay.
That's just me and him.
Oh,
There's
awesome.
the other guys have Michael Lardy has a bunch of stuff. So when you put it all together, we probably have 16 or 17 songs,
That's
maybe.
good. That's good.
Yeah,
So you can
not
scrap.
all finished, not all totally finished, but I have 7 finished. But
So
I
you
have
got a good start.
I have 3 ready to go that we played in sound check and stuff. Just real,
Yeah.
not everything carved in stone yet, but just the basic idea.
Got the basic structure.
Yeah.
How you want to go. So what do you guys just come up with the parts and then just start jamming it out and see where it goes from there?
Yeah. Like
That's-
I'll show them the riff at sound check and they just launch in
Mhm.
and just start catching on and you can kind of tell if it's going to work or not just by the groove and stuff. I'm speaking through the music. I don't even have to say, "Hey, check out this idea." I had to start playing and they all come in.
That's awesome that you're still as passionate about music as you were when you said what, 23? That's so cool, man. I mean, and to have
Thank you.
this privilege to continue to do it at this age, man. If I had that opportunity, I'd play right up until I'd have to literally fucking die on stage before I would stop. It's amazing that, you're still going strong and you're still passionate about it. I fucking love it, man. It's an inspiration
Thank
to
you.
me. Yeah, it's an inspiration
Thanks,
to me,
John.
Let's talk about your blues influence, all right? Like I had mentioned, Mr. Bone. I love that riff, that group in that song is fucking cool, man. One thing that always separated Great White from many hard rock bands of that era was the strong blues influence underneath everything. Now, where did that side of your playing originally come from?
Probably originally, like when I was about 14, probably Carlos Santana.
Oh,
The way he kind of played, it was
cool.
kind of theme orientated. I kind of gravitated towards that, but then I got into Alvin Lee. I learned by the time I was 15, I knew I'm Going Home and a few of his other tracks. And then I got into Johnny Winter pretty heavily.
So
And
you're
then
like hardcore.
later, yeah, like when I was 17, 16 and 17, I was real into Billy Gibbons.
Oh, yeah.
And Robin Trower.
Yeah.
I really liked Robin Trower. I
Great
would
influences.
learn Bridge of Sighs songs. And I was just learning songs, really. That's how I kind of honed my skills a little bit. I learned every song off Black Sabbath 4 because everything was really riff orientated.
Yeah.
And even if you're kind of not really a total beginner, maybe you've been playing 3 years,
Yeah.
it's easy to learn and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I would mess around with that a little bit.
That's
And
cool,
I just jumped from guitar player to guitar player as far as influence.
Mm-hmm.
But I really dug Trower a lot.
Yeah.
He kind of plays the way I like to play.
Mm-hmm.
And Gibbons also really gets the maximum out of the way he plays. So those are the kind of people that I loved. And then later on, Stevie Ray Vaughan I liked a lot. Actually got to meet him.
Oh, dude,
I like Mick Ronson. Mick Ronson was badass. Just guitar players like that I'm mentioning. I like Jimmy Page.
Yeah, of course.
Just the way he wrote. I just like the way he wrote songs and the way he played solos within the songs. It was almost like a song within a song. You know what I mean?
He wasn't the most technically proficient back then, but he was a fucking musical genius when it came to songwriting.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin is absolutely one of the best, and not only in my opinion, but in the general public, they're one of the best classic rock bands of all time. And
no question.
Their music still stands today against anything that you can hear today.
I saw Zeppelin when I was 15 once. They played the Forum in LA, and me and my friend went and seen them. That was pretty cool. I could have touched Page. That's how close I was. When they walked on stage, we were behind the stage. That's how bad our seats were. I walked around the arena when they played, though. But when they walked on stage, I was literally like 3 feet from Page. I could have reached out and actually touched him.
That is so cool, man. Talking about Stevie Ray Vaughan and Billy Gibbons, One thing that really stands out to me is their string gauge and the action. I heard that Stevie Ray Vaughan's action was like really high, like this far off the fretboard. Do you
Yeah,
recall that?
I didn't really know that, but I know Gibbons used even sevens on the high
Yeah,
E.
sevens.
He learned that from I think BB King. Either that or it was Albert King. One of those two.
Yeah,
They said, "Why are you working so hard?" Because I guess he had pretty thick strings on the
yeah,
thick gauge strings. He goes, "You're
yeah,
working too hard, man." And
yeah.
so he talked him into trying the lighter gauge.
Yeah, see, I can't use the lighter gauge because I break a lot of high E's,
Yeah.
and they lose tone so quick from, once you do a lot of bends. It's like you got to change your strings a lot more often. I don't know if, it's just me.
I use tens. I use a
And
10 set, and it's it.
they keep their tone longer, but yeah, I would love to use lighter strings, but again, the tone doesn't last.
I
And
probably couldn't. I couldn't do it because the tension would be just too, rubber bandy.
yeah, yeah,
I don't think I could play that. I really dig in when I'm playing, so I need a little bit of tension.
yeah. Yeah. I like to feel the bends. I like to feel the vibrato. I like to shake the hell out of the string. And, that's probably why they don't last as long for me because I focus a lot on my bends and vibrato. And I think that's crucial to, having your own voice as a guitar player. But I know, speaking of Paul Gilbert, he said something about switching his gauge strings to like, sevens or eights. And there's just no freaking way, that I can do it, I mean, even if you're playing fast runs, I mean, it's just like twang, 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 twang. That's all I can think of. Now, when people think about Great White years from now, what do you hope that they remember beyond just the hits?
That they respected my part of the band with the blues. That we wrote songs with that they remember. We had good energy on stage. We were relentless with touring. One thing that I think hopefully they respect is we never left anywhere after a show until all pictures were taken and everything was signed. And that's one thing I'm proud of, that we always were there for the fans and let them know how much we respected the fact that
For support.
they bought our music and we're close to the music, and that's one thing I could never be more respectful of and love anymore, because without the fans, we'd
Yeah.
just be nothing.
With you being very appreciative and respectful of your fans, that creates a bond, a personal bond with them where they feel every time they listen to your music that they
Yeah.
have that kind of connection with you. And
Also, I'm leaving them with something because I'm a fan myself, and I always wonder, some of my heroes, what's their life like away from the stage.
yeah.
So I just finished my book.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
was going to get into
no,
that
that's
part.
okay. It's called Soul of a Man, and it's about my life, not only with the guitar laced in there and telling what's like to be in a band, how I got started, all that kind of stuff, but also my life away from the stage, so they can get to know me better, and hopefully they appreciate that when I'm gone, that I gave them a chance to get to know me a little better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Having that approach and appreciating your fans like that is how, especially this day and age, is how you gain loyalty, from your fans. And, you know,
Oh yeah.
but let's get right into rapid fire and we'll wrap it up again. Your favorite Great White riff to play live?
I still like Rock Me because I got some great memories behind that. It was the first song that really struck a nerve with the fans, and I still like playing it live. It's still a lot of fun. And I remember when the record company was in the control room listening back to it, and they just completely flipped out.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of memories behind that. and it was our third album, so it was the first thing that we've ever really connected with fans.
Yeah, it connected with me, that's for sure. One of my favorites, dude. It's now you mentioned Robin Trower, but one guitarist that still blows your mind.
Still to this day, Carlos Santana. I've never seen anybody grab one note and make that big of a deal out of it.
Yeah.
You can see it in his face, his expressions, and he's just grabbing a note. That always freaks me out that somebody can have that much passion and care that much about a single note. I don't know, something about that. Also, Trower, the fact that he's 80 years old, 81 or something, and he's still out there playing, I just think that's the greatest thing in the world, man.
Oh yeah, that's a definite inspiration. Yeah, it's an inspiration to me that guys like yourself are still out there doing that. Vintage gear or modern convenience? I think I know the answer to this one.
I think vintage gear, the one thing I like is, and only my peers kind of know how important this gear is Fender Bassman heads. If you get one that's old enough, what's called pre-CBS, it's before 1963.
Mm-hmm.
You can find a head. When you turn it up to about 7, the tubes saturate, and you get that Tres Hombres ZZ Top sound, where the tubes actually saturate, and you get that real true distortion.
Yeah.
That you can't get from a pedal.
Mm-hmm.
That is some vintage gear that is gold done.
Nice.
I mean, I just love those amps. If you can find one, and also Sylvania tubes, which are very difficult to find. But if you can find a TV guy that's been fixing TVs forever, sometimes you can find one from them. And you just put one in your power tube line, and it really does something to the sound. So
that's cool,
these are little tricks that you learn over when you know tube guys. I know tube guys that know about all that.
Do you have one of those amps? Just out of curiosity.
Yes, I have two. I have two Fender Bassmans. One's too loud though. I have to use the pedal with it, but the other one is like I was talking about pre-CBS 1962.
Yeah.
Fender Bassman head that sounds insane.
And you got that. You got that tube in there that you were just talking about. What are those tubes?
No, I don't have that tube, but it sounds incredible without it.
Yeah. Well, you said they're hard to find, right? You said they're hard to find.
Yeah, they're kind of hard to find.
One album every guitarist should hear, Mark.
This is kind of outside the box, but one of my favorite records is Johnny Winter, Still Alive and Well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great album for a guitar player to listen to because you can hear the bass the whole time, the entire album. And Rick Derringer told me how he did it. He just pushed up the fader.
Oh, yeah?
Which I thought there was some huge trick to it, but no.
Right.
He goes, Randy Joe Hobbs always sounded like that on every album he ever played on. So there was no special thing there, but that album is my favorite album to this day. You know, of course, there's some rock bands that have great albums like AC/DC, that Black album is just amazing.
Oh, dude, that's one of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best. Studio recording or live performance?
Live. One
song you never get tired of playing?
I'd say Rock Me. Same answer.
Yeah, that's a good tune, man. What still makes you smile about music?
When I see older people that still have passion, like Gibbons, Billy Gibbons, Robin Trower, just to see they still love what they do and haven't lost the passion.
Yeah, that inspires you too, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely.
And you inspire people like me, so it goes right down the line, dude. Mark, I want to thank you sincerely for taking the time with me today, and it's been an absolute pleasure hearing the stories, your perspective and wisdom behind such an important chapter in rock history, bro. So, I wish you and the band continued success and, great luck with Carlisle guy. And
yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing some of your new material, dude. When that comes
Right
out.
on.
So
I'll let you know.
take
Me
care.
too. Me too.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.